Good morning and welcome to Project Ready's second virtual session. My name is Erica Smith and I'm the Director of Education and Youth Development for the Urban League of Hampton Roads. And the Urban League is one of the oldest civil rights organizations in the country. As an affiliate, the Urban League of Hampton Roads offers programs and services in the areas of housing, health, employment, entrepreneurship, and education. We are the only organization with every program solely dedicated to closing the racial wealth gap within the community. If you haven't already, please follow us on social media for the latest information on events and programs being offered. Additionally, visit our website, www.ulhr.org, if you or someone you know is interested in our first-time homebuyers classes, financial coaching opportunities, and so much more. Project Ready is our current educational program geared toward minority students preparing for college and or career after high school. It is co-chaired by actors Charnel Brown and Daryl Bell, who played Kimberly Reese and Ron Johnson, respectively. Hopefully, all of you were able to attend or view last month's session on mental health wellness, where Charnel gave a powerful testimony about her own mental health struggles and desire to see all youth live out their purpose. Our feature topic today is college readiness, and today's discussion will be held with Ms. Alia Banks from ODU, Adria Phillips from Access College, Larry Wilson from Norfolk State University, and special guest, Dr. Tim Goler, Assistant Professor of Sociology and from Norfolk State, and Quinnisa Doles, who's a graduate student from Norfolk State as well. Please feel free to post your comments and questions in the chat as we proceed, and we will make sure to address them during this session. We will first hear from Ms. Banks, admissions counselor at ODU, to speak generally about the admissions process, requirements, and important deadlines to note when applying for college. Ms. Banks.
Okay, good morning, everyone. As she said, my name is Alia Banks. I am an admissions counselor at Old Dominion University. I also received my Master's of Science of Higher Education from ODU back in May, actually, so go me. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, so I am not a Virginia native, but I do love my state. I know this is the Commonwealth of Virginia. And then I attended East Carolina University for undergraduate, and I have my BA or Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Okay, so my presentation will be about the 5 things that admissions counselors want you to know. I'm going to try my best to keep it succinct, and so please be sure to let me know if you have any additional questions afterwards. All right, starting off, first thing, what do you want out of college? Okay, this is an introspective question. Introspective meaning you got to know yourself, right? You got to do that top to bottom process. Okay, and don't just always think about, okay, the athletics, which let's be honest here, athletics are always going to be a big thing when considering colleges, right? But also keep in mind that, there's student organizations maybe that you want to be involved in. That's not the first thing, right? First thing are academics. Always be sure that you're looking at different and specific academic programs. If you really want to do marine biology or social work, make sure that you're looking at institutions that have those subjects specifically. But the biggest thing to keep in mind with this first piece is that you are the only one who can answer this question for yourself. Do not do what your friends are doing, okay? Like they have their own thing and they probably have things about themselves that they're not even telling you, okay? This is only a question that you can answer for yourself. So make sure that this is the first thing that you're doing, and then you go from there. Okay, second thing, make a list. It is up to you. Like I said, going back to that introspective piece, it is completely up to you whether or not you're starting with a big number. I think I started with maybe 8 schools that I was interested in, and then I think I only applied to 4. So, and I know people who started off with 15 and applied to 10. So it's completely up to you. Only thing that I wish that I would have done if I'm going back again is considered more schools and considered a little bit more out of state. There are out of state scholarships. There are all types of scholarships that will help you get to where you want to go if that's where you want to go. So don't let financial things always stand in the way. And I'm sure Urban League always has financial literacy things that they're hosting as well. So start with the number and eliminate from there. The key with this tip is that if it's on your final list, if it's a school that you're like, hey, I'm going to apply to, Y'all better not be applying to schools that you have not visited yet. You have to be able to see yourself on the physical campus. Typically, when you're going on campus tours, it's just a walk through campus. I always recommend going to an open house. An open house typically allows you to walk through the classrooms, meet some of the professors, faculty, and staff as well. So I always recommend going to an open house. That way you can truly see yourself there and you're getting a little bit more information than compared to a regular tour. Okay, third thing, research. This is a slide, you know, if you started dozing off in the first beginning, this is a slide that you want to pay more attention to, okay? These are all the goods. So in admissions, we have a lot of jargon, we have a lot of words that mean a lot of things, and I want to make sure that we break those down so that you're not left out of the crew, all right? So every admissions office is different. This whole presentation that I'm doing is more general, but I need for you all to understand that every single admissions office is going to do something completely different. At ODU, for instance, we don't accept transcripts straight from students. We have to get them from a third-party vendor like Parchment or Naviance or eScript or Clearinghouse or any of the other transcript services. Other schools, they may accept their transcript straight from you. So that's just one example. But let's start from the top, all right? Early action / early decision. These are deadlines. For instance, ODU's is December 1st. Ours are more loose. They're not hard deadlines. That doesn't mean that if you don't apply by December 1st that you won't be considered for early action. It just simply means that we really, really want for you to apply by that point so that you get priority consideration for scholarships, specifically our merit-based scholarship. Other institutions for which that deadline is hard. You don't apply by then, you're not being considered for early action. And then another thing to keep in mind are some schools are binding. Binding meaning if you apply and you're admitted and you accept the decision, you have to go to that institution. So it's also really important when you're looking at deadlines to also know which schools are binding and which schools are not. Second thing, that enrollment fee. You want to know how much it is and when it's due. Keep that in mind. That enrollment deposit is confirming your spot. Confirming is what we call it. That means that you're accepting your admission to the institution and saying, hey, I'm saving my spot to go to this institution. Test optional status. Typically test optional means, and I know it's kind of confusing, test optional means that you are asking not to submit SAT or ACT scores. Many of institutions did this before the pandemic, but a lot of institutions kind of caught on board during the pandemic and post-pandemic, not post-pandemic, but because we're still kind of in it. So the important thing to know is that that's test optional. If you would like to be test optional, typically you have to let the institution know on the application, or if you made a mistake, you're always able to call. And then the third thing, like I said, we talked about transcripts. You want to know how you should send it and what is the quickest way to send it. There's always a quicker way to send it. For us, you can just email it to us. You can have your high school counselor email it to us. Other institutions, they may have other ways, but always make sure those things. Degree programs. If you call me at admissions and are like, hey, what programs do you offer? I'm going to slide you our website. I'm going to have you peruse through that. I'm an admissions counselor, guys. I don't know everything about the institution, especially academics. I do know scratching the surface, but I can't ever really help you get through to the nitty gritty on should I do elementary education or early childhood development education? Okay, so that's one of the things that you need to be doing on your own. So if you know specifically that you want to do aerospace engineering, do it. If you know you really want to do marine biology, do that, but make sure that you're doing your own research on the back end to make sure that you're going to and applying to where you really want to go. Okay, fourth thing, college visits. I had an amazing travel season. Travel season is what admissions counselors call when we're out on the road talking to high school students in their high school and at college fairs. I had an amazing one, love getting to know even some of our Hampton Roads areas. I have Yorktown and Williamsburg and then all the way up to Nova. But all of these counselors are coming from every which way, coming to specifically speak to you and your classmates. Make sure you are signing up for these college visits. I know in the Hampton Roads area, all of the Hampton Roads colleges are coming to these high schools. So y'all can't say that they aren't. I know they are. We talk to each other. And know that too. We all talk to each other. So make sure that you have your questions ready, guys. I don't care what it is. Make sure you make a laundry list of questions. Even if you're like, I'm not sure if that's relevant, ask the question. That's what we're there for. The biggest thing with this, do not leave those college visits without our contact cards. We have them on hand specifically for you. And once you have access to me, you always have access to me. And I know plenty of other admissions counselors who are the same way, and we're always ready and able to walk you through the application process, okay? So make sure that you're going to these college visits and the college fairs. College fairs are super fun. So make sure you're going to those college fairs. Don't get overwhelmed. Have your questions ready. walk up to the table, play it cool, you got it, okay? And then always leave with the contact. And make sure you have that stuff organized too. Keep a little folder of all your contacts, all your questions, and things of that nature. Even put it in like a Google Doc or something. Make sure you're organized. Okay, fifth and final thing, please trust the process, guys. You have to know yourself, but if you've done all these steps that I've just given you, you're gonna end up where you're supposed to. And that's just the bottom line, okay? Trust yourself, trust the process, but know your options. And essentially, that is it. You guys got this. I'm really proud of you already, and I don't even know you. And let me know if you guys have any questions.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Banks. I appreciate all of that information. I know that our students do as well. All right, so next we will hear from Ms. Phillips with, she's a program specialist with Access College about paying for college, specifically financial aid, FASFA, and available scholarships. Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
So welcome. Thank you for having me today. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Hopefully you are up, awake, alert, and ready to go. My name is Mrs. Phillips. I'm with Access College Foundation, as was stated. And I'm here to talk to you today about that ever important financial aid and the money part of going to college. So my goal is to help anyone and everyone who would like to get a higher education be able to afford that higher education with the least amount of loans, if any. So the first very important thing is filing that FAFSA form, and that will happen in October of your senior year. So October 1st is the earliest you can file that form, and you want to meet those priority deadlines of each college that you are applying to or have applied to. So you do not have to have already applied to a college to go ahead and fill this out. So if you're applying regular decision over break, over the holidays, you can still go ahead and complete this form, and you can list up to 10 colleges, universities on this form. Please note that this is a government form. You can find it at studentaid.gov. You do not want to go to FASFA.org or FASFA.com. Those are kind of those middlemen type people. So you want to make sure that you are using the correct website. And here you can always too find lots of resources, learn about understanding that aid, and Access advisors are here to help you get this filed, understand it, walk through each step of this process. It will require your parent involvement unless you are classified as independent. And independent doesn't mean age 18 for FAFSA purposes. Independent means you're fully self-supporting, homeless, you're under legal guardianship in some cases, and those type of extreme circumstances. Other than that, you, the student, this is your FAFSA, and one parent will need to have a username and password, and that will act as you to be able to get into this form, as well as your electronic signature when you're ready to submit this form. And then the colleges will receive all of your information, all of the colleges that you have listed on this form. So it will require your parents' tax information, bank account balances, things like child support, disability, those types of things. And then of course your college selection. And then if the student works, we will need that information as well. So still the income information if you worked, as well as your bank account balances for the student and parent. This is renewable every year, and you will use the prior year's taxes. So if you're a current senior and you are filing this form, you're going to use the 2020 tax documents to complete this form. At the end, there will be a link with your Access Advisor's information. We are in all of the public high schools. So if you have very specific questions, or you would like to get if you are a senior, if you would like to get your FAFSA filed, then you can make an appointment with your Access Advisor at your public high school. We're in the public high schools in Hampton Roads. But this is very crucial. And again, it's renewable, so you have to file it every year. Once you file it, you will get what's called an EFC, which is your expected estimated family contribution. That's what they think you can contribute towards the cost of college. And then the colleges will then receive this, and they will send you a financial package, right? Just because you file this form does not mean that you are locked in to anything that's offered to you. So they may offer you grants. The state and federal government may offer you grants. The college may offer you grants or scholarships. The college may offer you work study, which is working part-time on campus, and it's usually 10 to 15 hours a week. And then they offer loans. You then have to accept or decline any parts of your financial aid package. And timing is everything. You don't want to lose aid because you're waiting and waiting. So make sure that you know that that's going, keep an eye out on your emails. It's very important through the admissions process and through the financial aid process that you are constantly checking your emails for other additional required documents they may need, or any type of communication from colleges that you have applied. So then every college you're accepted to will send you that financial package. You are to review it and then decline it to the institution that you will then attend. And then it is also good etiquette to let the schools that you have not chosen to attend, to let them know that you won't be attending there. So then they may be able to distribute that financial aid to another student, or have it go back into the pool, so to speak. And then the best thing to do, so this is kind of like one of those first initial things you'll do as your senior year in October to November timeframe. We always suggest to students, it's great to have this done and out of your way by Christmas break. Just get it done. So that's always a good thing. And then scholarships are the next best thing, and you can start looking for those as super early. So my son won his first scholarship at age 7. So there are scholarships out there for everyone and anyone, any age group. So let me show you a couple of great websites that you can begin using as early as 9th grade, at least. And that is a fairly easy one to start with. And Raise.me was founded by the Gates family. It does have a great college search tool on there as well. So you can see a lot of things about the college, but you can start an account. And I always suggest to students, when you start scholarship searching, create its own email, because some of these websites send a lot of advertisements and a lot of junk email to your email. And you do not want to confuse that with your admissions emails or any other emails that your colleges are going to be using to contact you directly. So I always suggest you could use, like, if it was me, Mrs. Phillips, and put little $ and college after it at Gmail or something like that. Something fairly easy that you'll remember is the best way. So this is a great website because all you do is you take your transcript, you enter in your grades as early, any of your high school course level work, you start to enter in here. And then the colleges will offer you different little micro scholarships. So different colleges will offer you different things. And if it's a college you hadn't heard of, you can always go right there, click on that college, and find a lot of information out about that college, the location, the size, all of those types of things. And then if you apply and you're accepted to that college, those scholarships from that college only go with you from this site. You can also, this is also a great thing, any of your volunteer work, your clubs, your athletics, that was mentioned earlier, your artistic abilities. If you go to a college campus and you have toured a college, if you've been to a college fair, then you can add those things on there and schools will be able to see that as well. So this is a great, great tool. It's easy. You can start on it as early as 9th grade, and then you can go from there. And then one other scholarship website, and then I'm going to wrap this up so you can move along because we have limited time. And this is one we use at VB schools, is Going Merry. Going Merry, you would sign up as a student, of course, and you join, it's free again. And then you can search, they have a lot of the auto-filled forms, so you don't have to type the same things twice. It's an easier way to go about it. You can apply for multiple scholarships at once by bundling them. And they have a mobile app as well, so you can do it that way. And what they do is when you create your account, you put all your interests, what your hobbies are, those types of things. You could put your ethnicity, your religion, your background, all of those types of things come into play so that they match you to things that you're interested in and your background. And so then you would just get matched to all your eligible scholarships. You can view them. You can go right to the website of that scholarship and find out more about it. But then you can see the amount, about how long it takes to complete it, when the deadlines are. So it's always a great tool to begin, is to be organized. Just as Leah said, in the admissions, you might want to keep a folder just for scholarships with deadlines and additional transcripts that are sealed officially, and then recommendation letters from your teachers. So you'll definitely want to have those in a safe place so that as you're doing these scholarships, you'll have all the things that you need to apply and make it an easy process for you. All right, so scholarships, there's millions and millions of dollars out there that goes left untouched. So start early, apply. It's almost like a part-time job. Just keep applying. And there's lots of scholarships provided by the institutions that you may be applying to. So if you are applying to a college, make sure you visit their financial aid page, their website. And that will give you a lot of information about scholarships that that institution may have for the students, and the timeline and the requirements for those scholarships. So that is also a great tool and resource, is your institutions, your colleges and universities that you are considering, and to go from there as well. And so thank you all for having us today, and please stay on because we're going right to the next person.
Thank you so much, Ms. Phillips. All of that, I learned something new today myself, and that's always a good thing. Thank you so much. All right, now Mr. Wilson, Assistant Director of Recruitment at Norfolk State University, will tell us about the importance of making the right decision and selecting a college to attend.
Good morning. I bring you
Thank
greetings. Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from the wonderful campus of Norfolk State University here in Virginia. It is an honor to be with you all today. Like she stated, I am Mr. Wilson, the Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment here in Sparta. Today, we want to share some information with you regarding making the right decision for college. So there are a lot of schools, a lot of opportunities out there. And so we want to help you to find the right fit. Now, we all who are at university level would love to have you at our various colleges and university, but we know it's what you're looking for and it's the right fit. So I also coined this, finding your home away from home. So reasons students are deciding to attend a college and/or university, according to Matchpoint, College Matchpoint, which is a credible source of college and universities, where students are saying it's sometimes because of the affordability, desired programs, career outcomes, reputation, academic quality value, and proximity to home, and of course, fitting in. So let's talk affordability. We just received some great information from Ms. Phillips regarding some things of how we can fund college. And I've taken some notes so that I can coin and share some of that information with some family members as well as some prospective students. But those are some great opportunities. So in looking at colleges and university, affordability and cost of attendance is vitally important. Find out how much the cost of attendance is up front, right? So what that will do, it'll be difference in or out of state, of course, we know that, but this is a time where you need to also have conversations with your parents and guardians just to see what is the budget going to be, you know, because we have our dream of those wonderful universities because all of us are great, but what is the budget that we're going to stick with it? And I want to share, just because Ms. Phillips shares so many great opportunities for scholarship, is do not be afraid of the sticker price for college to fund that dream. There are financial aid opportunities. And of course, you see, I just mentioned a few, but there's some extra ones that were added today. You know, your Golden Leaps, your Targets, your UNCF, the list goes on and on. There's some great opportunities out there for you. So as you're walking around, as you're researching online, believe it or not, you may go into a store that may have a scholarship. Your McDonald's, definitely, a lot of us eat at McDonald's, but other companies like that as well may have scholarship opportunities for you. So again, don't be afraid of the sticker price. Begin early as your 9th grade years, we're finding out today. Desired programs. Believe it or not, I've talked to students over the years who sometimes, again, pick schools for the notoriety, but never really look into the opportunity of their prospective major. What is it that you want to do? Do you know what you want to study? Oftentimes, you know, like I say, students pick it because of the notoriety, which is not always a good thing to do. You definitely want to make sure that major is there for what you want to do. So just make sure that you are researching and looking into that college to make sure that your offerings are there, you know, and I understand that students will possibly change their major within several times within that time frame. So make sure it's broad. Make sure they're offering certain course types, certain major types that are broad that may, again, help assist you. All right. So again, the major is vitally important when choosing a particular college. Does the school offer a variety of resources that will aid in your success? Career services, computer labs, study rooms, tutorial services, writing centers, and disability services. Those plans that you have for IEPs and variations of things of that nature, we will support you in college. So you want to make sure that that is available to you at those prospective colleges, and then how to find it. What are they offering for you for your particular case? Because a lot of times it is case by case. We want you to succeed. Campus life, facilities and amenities. A lot of us have beautiful campuses, but can you feel yourself at home on that particular campus? How are the residence halls? What type of halls are available? Are you a person that needs a single room, a double, suite style, apartment style? And again, how much do they cost? Who's eligible to live in them? These are some questions that you may want to ask as you're doing your research for your prospective colleges. Dining services, restaurants. A lot of us have a unique diet. Some of us eat this, some of us don't eat this. It goes several different ways. What is the dining availability on the campus? Are they able to meet your accommodations for your special needs? Some people may not want a meat type of a diet. So again, looking into those accommodations for even your dining services. On-site services, are there medical facilities on the campus or somewhere close? Does a college offer an on-campus pharmacy, counseling center, bank? Hey, parents, guardians are sending you money. You want to be able to get it, right? A grocery store and or other needed services. What do you need for your particular college to have for you there, for you to feel at home, for you to be successful? Recreational opportunities. Now we understand that it's just like I use analogies, it's like a plant. If you give it too much water, it may die. If you give it too much sunlight. So there's a balance in everything. So we want to make sure, yes, college is first, but once you do well in the classroom, what recreational opportunities are there for you on that campus? Is there a rec center? What type of equipment do they have? Fitness class, pool, basketball, clubs, organizations, whatever it is that you need, again, to be successful on that college campus, are they offering those services for you? So again, something else for you to look at and maybe consider as well. Now, location, location, location. You hear that a lot when it comes to finding a home. And again, we're talking about a home away from home. So location is important. Do you see yourself in a nice, warm climate? We're here in the Hampton Roads area, within a 30, 40, 15, wherever you are, distance from the beach. Do you want to put your feet in the sand on a daily basis? Are you looking for something in the suburbs? You want to be in a rural, small town? Are you able to, be in one of those northern states or the mountains where it's really cold and snow? Think about that. That makes a big difference. And a lot of times, and not just looking at location, sometimes it's a culture shock for you. How close is transportation? Do they have mass transit systems to get you from point A to point B? Because a lot of us are not allowing cars on campus. But is there transportation for you? And of course, you'll want to go home at some point in time to visit airports, trains, stations. How close are they to the campus? Is that a need for you, or is it not? Just think about those things. And then, are there off-campus things that you would like to do? Again, location is vitally important. And of course, in this scenario, I use NSU as an example of where we are, where we're located. You all are familiar with us. So again, are there things in the area for you to do? The fit. Do you see yourself fitting in at that college or university? The most important factor when choosing a college is whether you feel comfortable on that campus. This will, of course, we know, as we're saying, will be your home away from home. Can you see yourself there thriving on the campus? But I always ask the question, can you see yourself graduating from that campus? It's full circle. We all would love to have great retention rates, and it starts with you staying with us. We want it to be your home away from home, to where you feel comfortable enough to live, to thrive, to do well, and then graduate. So as it was forestated earlier, in order to see the fit, make sure you're visiting colleges. Some people ask, well, when should I visit? As soon as you can get there. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It's no particular area. I've shared with students, you can start as early as the 9th and 10th grade, just kind of site visiting. So once you get to that junior and that senior year, hopefully you can narrow down to your possible top 3 to 5, hopefully top 3 in your senior year, and follow up with other visits just to make sure you still have that same feeling. So it's okay, come visit us, all right? So go visit those prospective schools. And so finally, I'm again, Mr. Wilson from Norfolk State University. I'm going to yield the rest of the time. So for any questions or anything that, going further later on, but definitely feel free to stay connected with us here at Norfolk State University at any time. Follow us on social media, and that's my contact number information. Thank you all again for the opportunity, and we look forward to what you do in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. We are so appreciative of you being with us today and offering such wonderful gems that our participants can take away for making that right fit for the college that they choose. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Goler to offer a few words of wisdom to our high school students that are preparing for college in the fall. And if they're not quite ready for the college in the fall, at least some words of wisdom to get them on their way. Dr. Goler?
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Goler. I'm an assistant professor at Norfolk State University and an alum. Dr. Larry Wilson, I'm alum. There has been a lot of great information shared so far, and I know sometimes it can probably feel overwhelming. It's a lot, especially when you start trying to get scholarships, and you got to keep applying for scholarships. But I'll just tell you, if you're on this call, you're going to be successful, because the number one thing that I think that is a quality that you need to have is the quality of initiative, right? To have initiative. Right. And so for you to be on this call this morning shows me that you're going to be successful in your college career. So just stay focused, ask for help, because there's a lot of things out there that you just don't know. Right. So this is one good start. And so after this call, after this Zoom session, if there are other questions that arise, don't hesitate to reach out and ask somebody, one of the counselors here, someone from the Urban League, for additional assistance, because I know there's been a lot that came at you this morning, but you're going to be successful.
Thank you for those encouraging words. Yes, I think the first step in making some of the best decisions in regards to college is attending a session like this that's going to offer you additional information and things to think about that you might not normally consider or haven't been told to consider. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. Lastly, I want to have Ms. Doles, Quinnisa Doles, who is a graduate student at Norfolk State University, to give us some personal testimony in regards to her experience in applying to colleges and what things she did consider when selecting a school to attend.
Thank you so much, and good morning to everyone. As Ms. Erica Smith had just said, my name is Quinnisa Doles, and I am a graduate student at the wonderful Norfolk State University. No offense to ODU, but Norfolk State is really in the building today. But I'm just here to share with you. I was invited here today to kind of ease your fears a little bit. I know you are in high school and everything, and this was a whole lot of information, like Dr. Goler said, and everyone had gave so much good advice and great information, and it is a lot to take in. But I just want to be that voice to just say everything is going to be all right. Just get yourself out there and really apply, do the things that you need to do. It's a time for new adventure, new experience, and some of you really may be looking at, it's a time to really break away from your parents as well. But on this road and on this journey, it is very important for you to stay focused and to really, this is a time to make your mark in the world and to also look at your future steps in life. So I'm just going to share a little bit about my experience. Well, first, I am a graduate student at Norfolk State, and I'm studying urban affairs. But I also was an undergrad student, and I studied political science. And to be honest, I didn't even know what political science was. My older brother, he just took it, and that was his major. And I was like, well, I think I want to be a lawyer. So I think that this is the right spot. But I end up really loving that major. So one of the panelists had said, Mr. Wilson had said, know the major that you want to do. And I know Ms. Banks had said the same thing. Just because your friends or your siblings are doing it, you have to have a introspective of what you want to do, not just because someone else is doing it. Even though it turned out good for me, you still want to do the things that you see fit for yourself. The next thing that I would share is that, first of all, why Norfolk State? Well, all of my family basically went there. My parents met there. My mom stayed in the towers. I ended up staying in the towers. And this was in 80, like early 80s, mid 80s. But they met at Norfolk State, and they had a union and had 3 wonderful kids. My grandmother went there as well, received a bachelor's and 2 masters from there at the age of 65. So that was kind of a big deal back then. My aunts and uncles taught there. I have an aunt that teaches there now, Professor Joy Cooley Doles. She teaches psychology there. So it's been in the family, and I've always been at the campus to see the games, homecomings when I was young, and I always knew that in the back of my mind, I wanted to go there. And also, very ironic, I used to watch It's a Different World, and I just loved the whole scene. And I just knew that, dang, I want to experience that myself. So that's why I chose Norfolk State. Another one that a lot of the panelists had said was that have an idea of the college, make a list. And most importantly, when you make that list, visit. Because you can have, I want to go to Duke, I want to go to Yale, but you get there, the vibe not right. You like, I don't really connect with these people fitting in, because it will be your home away from home. So you want to think about those things and really see, do I want to go to a HBCU or a PWI? And what is HBCU? Historically Black College University, and PWI is predominantly white institute. It's nothing wrong with either one, but you want to know which one fits you. And I like how Mr. Wilson had said that. Fit in, which one fits you. Another thing would be to stay mission-minded. Oh my gosh, you have to, because and have a plan, because failing to plan is planning to fail. I'm going to say that again. Failing to plan is planning to fail. You have to go in there knowing what you want to do. You may not know everything. You don't have to. You're not the great Oz, so you're not. You want to be able to, even if you're at home, if you're staying on campus, you want to write down your goals and your dreams and your aspirations and your plans with the school. So, yeah, I think my internet messed up. But you want to have that goal, and you want to read it, you want to write it, read it, and most of all, achieve what you wrote down. Next thing is, I would say, when you go there, you're going to meet so many different people from around the world. But always remember who you are. You always remember who you are and where you came from, and stay mission minded. And I would also say you're going to meet all these people, but build a good rapport with your advisors and also your professors as well. You're not just a number. That's something you want to take in too when you go to these institutes. Are you going to be in this big lecture hall and they don't know your name? They just, yeah, okay, I see you, but they don't really know who you are. So you want to build a rapport with your advisors and your professors, and they get to know you, and talk to them on a regular basis, weekly, whatever it is. Just stop by their office and talk to them, because you could gain a lot outside of the classroom talking to your professors. One of the other things is have fun, but stay focused. You got 7 days of a week, seven. So you want to look at school as your job, number one. So Monday through Friday, you go hard in your studies. I mean, go hard. Well, when Friday afternoon hit, up until Sunday, hey, do what you want to do, but be responsible about it. So if you know there's a party on Tuesday and you got an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock class, maybe you may not want to go because you can't wake up. And so you want to be conscious of all these things. Have fun, enjoy yourself, do things on campus, enjoy that life. It's a great experience, but be responsible and mission-minded. And that's all that I have to say. I'm just grateful for this opportunity to speak. And I'm actually an intern for the Urban League. And Dr. Goler is was my professor for urban affairs. And he introduced me to this internship, and I just want to let y'all know that everything is going to be all right. You know, just stay focused, and that's it.
Thank you, Quinnisa, for your words and your experience. And we appreciate all of your contributions to the Urban League as well, and for being a participant in our session today. At this time, I do ask that if you have any questions, you can unmute or you can type your questions in the chat and we will address them at this time. My panelists are still available here to answer any questions that they were not able to answer in the chat. I did see a few questions in there about the list, and I believe Ms. Phillips sent that as well. But if you have questions, you can unmute at this time to ask.
I have a question. So I have a daughter who's 16, and we were actually just discussing colleges. Well, we've been discussing for a while, but she is torn between staying close to home because like the comfort of having your family and people near, but then also going away, especially if there is a school that she's particularly interested in that may have the program that she would like. What advice would any of you give to a student who is kind of torn between, because it can be scary, obviously, you know, at 18, you know, venturing away from home, like your comfort zone. So what advice, and it can be from, you know, just a basic standpoint of leaving home, as well as a financial standpoint, because all of that has to be taken into consideration. What advice would you give to the parents and to that child that is, you know, struggling with that decision to go far or stay near?
I'll jump in first because that was a little bit of mine, and everybody please help me on this one.
Okay.
I would say know the student, okay? Is it a student that can thrive on their own, or is it a student that is supported? Because this day and time, we have a lot of helicopter parents. I don't want to call you that, but there are a lot of helicopter parents who are hovering. Mm-hmm. So is it in the student's best interest to stay at home because I'm not ready? I'm not self-sufficient as of yet that I feel, or am I a go-getter and I can do it on my own knowing that you're still hovering? Mm-hmm. And then of course, look at the other financial aspects as well. What is sound for the household? Mm-hmm. You know, we don't want anybody stressing to pay for college because there are opportunities out there, but you know, where are we with that and looking at that as well? So I would start with kind of knowing the student and knowing, can you thrive on your own?
I was going to jump in. I think it's also about a toolkit. So, so even though I went to ECU and I'm from I'm from just we'll say Charlotte. I'm from Charlotte. So I'm from Kannapolis, but I was born in Charlotte, so it's fine. 3 hours away is Greenville. So my mom was always mad at me. She was like, you could have went to Spelman. I mean, if you was going to be 3 hours away and in state, you should have just went somewhere out of state. And so something that helped with me and her, because I mean, my mom's all that I have. It's always just been me, my mom. She's my rock. She's my best friend. But we had a toolkit and we had things that we set in place in order to ensure that I still felt like, when I was at my home away from home, when I was at, my undergraduate institution, that I still had a connection with her. So one of the biggest things with me was safety. I was like, this place it's strange. We're out in Eastern Carolina, anything can happen. So first thing was safe word. So anything that I thought, this is an unsafe situation for me, I want to let my mom know like something is going awry. I've never had to use it, knock on wood. But I had a safe word with her. I think ours was like Black Ops. So I would just text her. That was my thing, to text her like Black Ops. That lets like check my location, do all the things, go through your list. That's the time to be a helicopter parent. That's the time to, make all the calls. Second thing was, and especially for grad school, when I was in grad school, it was just so hard for me to find time for even myself, let alone me and my mom. So especially now that I transitioned to full-time work, me and my mom take every Sunday to watch something. Right now we're watching Insecure. So we take, just an hour of our time on Sunday just to chit chat with each other and talk and watch something together. And so just developing those different things, and we have other things that we do, but developing those things that really just keep us connected, it really helps. And it fills in the time, and then before I know it, like I'm back at home with her and my dogs and we're having a good old time. So I think that's something important to keep in mind too.
Right. Hopefully that answered your question, Ms. Brayton.
Yes,
I was going to throw my 2 cents in, and then I do see your hand, Kennedy, and then I'm going to get to your question. But I would say that be brave. I wanted to not really go away per se, but I went far enough away to where I felt like I was away and that I could still have my home connection as well. So it might be a good in between. I, of course, would not have gone all the way to California, but I think that if you're choosing a place that is away from home, to think about if you have any family members or anybody that's friends that can be close by to help kind of give her that family feeling and a place to go, and when she might feel like she wants to go home. But I think that's one of the things that I missed out on, is going away to school a little further than what I went. But at the time I went where I was comfortable. So we just don't want it to be any regrets. So I would say be brave. I love the toolkit. That's awesome and amazing. And I cannot wait to do that with my daughter. I think she's going to be 16 in 3 years. So I think we might just establish that now. But I love that. And yes, the financial cost to it, I think, is important to think about as well, because there'll be holidays, and are you going to be prepared to come back home for Thanksgiving? That's really not that long. Not just paying for school, but getting back home. I know that that's an issue for some students that, live further away. And then like all of your stuff, are you going to bring that home every time at the end of every year? Some people have a storage facility. So I'm just throwing those things out there. All right, Kennedy, I see your hand. You can unmute or you can type it in the chat.
My question was, would uploading SAT and ACT scores to a test optional school greaten your chances of getting accepted?
Good question.
Okay, yeah, I'll jump in right there quickly. So short answer, it depends. So, and I can really only speak on how ODU works, which is good for you because obviously it's local. So for us, for instance, you can always submit scores. being test optional, I wouldn't say it's definite. So what happens is, let's say you put in an application and you don't mark that you want to be test optional. We're going to put on your application checklist that we require your SATs or ACTs. We won't be able to review your application in full until we receive that score. And I mean, on off chances, if you self-report it, sometimes we will, depending on it, but that's neither here nor there. The second thing to keep in mind is, let's say that you do apply as test optional, but you're like, okay, I applied as test optional so that I can go ahead and apply for that early action deadline. For us, it's December 1st, but I won't be taking the SAT until March, which is after the regular decision deadline, which is February 1st, right? So you can always submit scores, even if you're test optional, even if you were, let's say, like admitted, you can always submit scores, at least for us. But this is why it's really important that you're asking, Norfolk State may do something completely different. So you really want to make sure that you're asking the colleges, like, how does it work if I'm submitting scores? And I won't say that it really helps in terms of admissions, but it's also important that you're asking for averages. We don't have requirements. We don't have GPA requirements or SAT requirements. What we have are averages. So for ODU, our average SAT score is an 1118. Our average ACT score is a 23. Our average GPA is a 3.3. So you just keep those averages in mind when you're submitting your materials.
That is a valid point, and we're similar to that, a little different. So yeah, it definitely is going to depend on the school. So make sure you are asking this same question to those prospective schools. So I will also mention too that although a lot of schools are test optional, there's still some funding that require SAT. So you may want to remember that as well as you're applying. And I see Ms. Phillips' hand go ahead going. So yeah, there are still scholarships that require SAT. So again, that's a good question. Well, here with us at Norfolk State University, if you're 3.0 prior to the pandemic, we were already test optional. Again, that's a great question. Thank you for that, Kim.
Yeah, and there are also some degree programs, even though for admission's sake, we don't require the SAT. Nursing may require the SAT, nuclear medicine, dental hygiene may require the SAT. Engineering for us doesn't necessarily require the SAT. They require a specific GPA or a math placement test to have you place out of certain entry-level math programs so that you're matriculating at the right time. So I would just keep that in mind, that whatever happens with admissions, we just get you in, we just get you where you need to go. After that, that's what I'm saying. You need to make sure you're doing your research. And I was going to quickly say, don't forget the Common App. In Virginia, we have the Common App. And then for your HBCUs, there's the Common Black College application, I want to say. I just recently heard about that, and I thought it was an amazing toolkit. It's just like a simple application that you use to apply to multiple schools. The Common App is for a few of the Virginia state schools and some out-of-state schools. And then the Common Black College application is for some of HBCUs. Cool. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Ms. Erica, I think you're muted though.
Yes, thank you. Are there any other questions? I didn't see any in the chat, but I want to make sure everybody had an opportunity to ask any questions. Of course, you may contact me directly. My information is everywhere and on your registration for our events, but I will make sure that the session continues to go for about 5 or 10 more minutes after, with all of the contact information that we had available at the time, and information on how to register for our future sessions. Next month, we will talk about financial literacy, again, getting closer to closing that racial wealth gap and making sure that our students are ready to enter into college in the world financially sound, and having all of those questions answered about the best way to navigate financially. So if there are no more questions, I want to thank our panelists for participating today. Thank you so much, and your presence here is appreciated. Please, again, join us for our next session. As always, I want to thank our co-chairs, Charnel and Darrell Bell, for their co-chair responsibilities. Thank you, Mr. Goler, for putting that in the chat for us. All right. And that's it. I want everybody to have a great weekend, wonderful holiday as well with your families. I'm wishing you so much peace, joy, and love during this season. I know that it's rough during the holidays, or it can be, but I do want you all to enjoy your time off. So I'm going to let this play for you so you can see all this information. But again, thank you for attending today. Oh,